When a snowplow operator vanished during a routine highway run, investigators blamed a brutal winter storm. His last radio transmission cut mid-sentence, and the plow kept moving without him. The case was quietly closed as an accident. 6 winters later, melting ice revealed evidence that turned a weather tragedy into something far darker. The storm arrived ahead of schedule and refused to leave. Winds slammed the plains, lifting snow into sheets that erased lanes and signs. Evan Brooks, a county snowplow driver with 10 winters behind him, signed on at 11:42 p.m. He kissed his wife on the cheek, joked about overtime, and rolled the truck out of the depot with chains rattling like bones. His route traced the rural edges, farm roads, creek crossings, a long stretch of State Route 18 where drifts liked to ambush tires. At 12:17 a.m., Evan radioed in a drift near mile marker 63. His voice sounded calm, practiced. He mentioned black ice by the culvert. Dispatch acknowledged. At 12:26, the GPS ping placed his plow on the straightaway west of Pine Hollow. Then the storm leaned harder. At 12:31, his radio clicked once and went quiet. When dawn bled through the whiteout, Evan didn't clock off. The depot assumed a stuck truck, maybe a dead battery. A supervisor tried the radio. No answer. By 8:04 a.m., the sheriff's office joined the call list. Snowmobiles cut into the storm like needles. Visibility shrank to feet. Somewhere on Route 18, a plow sat abandoned, engine cold, blade angled as if waiting for a command that never came. They found the truck first. Driver's door ajar. Seat empty. Thermos rolling on the floorboard. The GPS unit blinked in error. Evan's gloves rested on the dash, fingers curled. No blood. No footprints that could be trusted. Snow fell sideways, filling every question as soon as it formed. The earliest theory took hold because it felt reasonable. A man steps out to check chains. A gust knocks him down an embankment. A creek runs beneath ice. Hypothermia is fast and quiet. The storm hides mistakes. Dogs tried to work but circled and quit. Helicopters stayed grounded. By the time the blizzard eased, the landscape had reset itself. The second theory came wrapped in rumor. A trucker reported a flare on the shoulder hours before dawn. Another swore he saw headlights veer toward the tree line. Someone mentioned wolves moving south that winter. Someone else mentioned pills. None of it stitched together, but people repeated it anyway. Stories keep fear busy. Weeks turned into months. Snowbanks hardened and shrank. Searchers walked grid lines when they could, poking drifts with poles, listening for the hollow sound of space beneath. They found Evans' hat 2 miles east of the plow, pinned against a fence by wind. The map adjusted. The river theory gained weight. The creek swelled each spring, cold and fast. The county put the case to sleep under a phrase that felt like closure without being it: lost in a storm. Evan's wife boxed his uniforms and stacked them in the garage. His son learned to drive. The depot hired a replacement. Winters came and went, each storm reminding someone of the man who used to take the hardest route because it mattered. Route 18 got a new guardrail near the culvert. The story settled into something people could carry. 6 years later, winter loosened its grip early. A warm front lingered. Snow collapsed into slush. Creeks broke free and ran loud. A county survey crew checked washouts along Pine Hollow, their truck idling where ice had undercut the shoulder. Downstream, tangled in willows, a metallic glint caught the sun. It wasn't a body. It was worse for questions. They found Evan's plow blade marker, an orange fiberglass rod, snapped clean and wedged in silt, a mile south of where the truck sat. The current hadn't carried it there. The angle was wrong. Surveyors followed the creek, then stopped. In the mud lay parallel grooves, faint but deliberate, pressed when the ground was soft. Tire tracks. Investigators reopened the file with careful language. Spring exposes things winter keeps. They pulled archived GPS logs and discovered a gap no one had reconciled. Between 12:26 and 12:31, Evans' unit recorded a deviation, brief, subtle, off Route 18 toward a service road closed that night. Dispatch logs showed a call routed to Evans' channel at 12:29 that was never logged as answered. The audio existed, mislabeled, a ghost in the system. The voice on the tape was not Evans. It asked for assistance. It mentioned a jackknifed semi near the service road gate. The accent sounded local. The cadence felt rehearsed. Evans' response never came through, but the GPS suggested movement. Attention shifted away from the storm and toward people who knew the roads as well as Evan did. The service road serviced a quarry dormant in winter, locked but not sealed. A farmhand recalled seeing lights there during the storm. A tow operator admitted to pulling a truck free near Pine Hollow before dawn, paid in cash, no receipt. He described a county plow idling nearby, driver unseen. The misdirection that had protected the comfortable answer began to crack. Snow doesn't make phone calls. Rivers don't move trucks uphill. Someone had spoken to Evan in the storm and he had listened. They searched the quarry when the ground dried enough to walk. Beneath a berm, partially buried by years of runoff, lay a length of plow chain with a county tag. Nearby, a glove surfaced, Evan's initials stitched inside. No remains followed. Not yet. The case tightened around a man named Ray Dalton, a private contractor who ran night hauling when weather shut everyone else down. Ray owned a radio capable of hitting county channels. He'd been cited twice for trespassing on the quarry road and once for dumping fill. His alibi for the storm night leaned on a time card no one could corroborate. When questioned, he talked about the blizzard like it was a character that did things for him. Digital forensics pulled cell data long thought lost. Ray's phone pinged the Pine Hollow Tower at 12:28. Then it went dark for 40 minutes. When it returned, the phone moved south, steady, slow, as if towing weight. Investigators matched the faint grooves in the thawed mud to a tire Ray favored on his rigs, discontinued but distinctive. Still, there was no body. Without it, doubt had room to breathe. Until a fisherman snagged something heavy at a bend where the creek deepened. The object refused the line and stayed. Deputies waded in and felt fabric under the water. They pulled gently. What came free had been held for years. The discovery didn't look like answers. It looked like time had been cruel. Forensics did the quiet work and named what the river had kept. Evan Brooks had not fallen. He had been moved. The injuries told a story the storm never could: blunt force before the water, restraints after. The map they once trusted had been redrawn by a voice on a radio and a decision made in the dark. Ray Dalton was arrested on a Tuesday when the sky was clear. He denied everything, then admitted to calling for help, then claimed Evan slipped. The jury listened to the tape, saw the tracks, understood the lie that had been easiest to believe. The verdict closed one door and opened another no one wanted: the knowledge that a familiar road can turn because someone asks it to. Route 18 is plowed now by drivers who know the story and keep their radios loud. In spring, the creek runs high and honest, showing what it took and what it returned. The storm still comes early some years, white and convincing, but the tracks it leaves don't disappear the way they used to.